I'll show you how it's done. Shazam!
Welcome, guys, to another episode of Underdeveloped. Today we are concluding Horror Month. We're a little behind, but
yeah,
when you're dealing with like rights and
yeah, the Scream video is still yet to be released.
Yeah, it's an impending.
Yeah, I mean it's finished. It's just copyright and stuff,
Exactly.
Hard times.
But today we have a review for Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah, a different Wes Craven movie.
So you get into the character Freddy Krueger and what this story means to you.
Oh, I always love Freddy Krueger as a character. One thing that really makes him stand out to me as a slasher villain is that Freddy actually has a real personality. He likes to play with his victims. He has this goofy personality that persists, and it only gets goofier in the sequels, which a lot of people really aren't that fond of. But I always liked that. I thought it was really fun.
So why do you like him goofy and comedic?
Well,
instead of like a horror guy.
Even when he is a horror guy, he works, but I like that aspect to him, that he can take him seriously on a movie, but you can also like have these really corny jokes in it. Like it just makes him unique. You don't see that many other slasher villains that really do that. They're mostly very silent, very just non-expressive characters.
Ironically, when he is horror-wise, he is also comedic as well.
A little, yes.
He kind of reminds me of Scarecrow, like when he plays with your fears and he can grow his arms out. Like this one scene, he kind of grows his arms out with terrible effects. It's similar to that, like how we can like manipulate fears, but here he's manipulating fears within dream worlds. And also, like I think it's also like just the idea of him is just clever. Like you need to sleep eventually. You can't really escape sleep. If you fall asleep, you die. That's terrifying in itself. Like sometimes I have like these dreams where it's like sleep paralysis where I'm like kind of locked into my body, but my mind is like awake, body's still in that REM mode where I can't move, where it locks up when you're trying to have dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean to prevent you from not acting out your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically when like the process is basically when you fall asleep, your mind and your body's kind of shut off, but your mind is like dreaming. But
yeah.
And like that's how people sleep well, because their bodies are still like awake, but your body locks when you get into that real REM, REM sleep mode, to prevent you from like sleepwalking or acting out whatever you're dreaming. Sometimes it happens when like your body's locked but your brain is awake, So that's what happens to me. So that alone, and that's just one aspect of sleep that's like terrifying. Mm-hmm. That's kind of what it is. Like you're locked in your body, but then you're moving around in your dreams, you know what I'm saying? And he's there. It's like everything's real. You feel everything. So I can relate to that fear. So imagine that. Like that's brilliant horror right there. That's a good idea. I don't really care about how like Freddy, like the backstory of Freddy, like I think that's stupid. He basically goes to hell and gets summoned by like dream demons. You know what I mean? So that if you want to take revenge, that's how it gets into like the like typical horror trope. Was like somebody's been wrong, like in Jason, the child was abandoned, the mother took revenge, and then the kid ended up rising back up. You know what I'm saying? But one good thing about Freddy is that Freddy is a killer like these other slashers, but he actually talks.
Yes. Like
Jason doesn't talk. I don't think Leatherface necessarily talks either, right?
I think he's like he makes some noises. Doesn't really
makes
speak.
Noises. Like he actually like Freddy actually has a motive. You know his motives. He talks. He speaks. Mm-hmm. We don't necessarily see his face a lot. We just see like some burned scars.
You see his face a lot more in the other movies.
Yeah, like especially in like the modern remake from 2010.
No, even then, like most of the actual sequels, you see plenty of his face. It's really only in this movie where they hide in shadows for a good amount of the movie.
If the practical effects on his face was a little bit better, it looked more realistic. You know what I mean? Because it looks kind of like cheap. You know what I mean? So it kind of takes the fear out. I think that's like a big killer of this movie, is that this movie could have been great if we could apply like better, like if it had a big budget for like more effects, more maybe CGI, more animation, more detailed.
Well, not CGI in that era.
Yeah, back then, like the modern CGI, like the modern CGI of the 2010 remake mixed with the story and the acting of like the original one can make a really terrifying experience.
To be honest, the only effect that I think is really all that bad is the one with his arms. That's the only one that really takes me out of it.
So the arms one was like the most, was like obviously like the
that's the worst. That's the worst of the bunch. Easy.
I thought it was still kind of cool because at least we sent like one still shot where you just see his arms grow.
No, yeah, I see that. I get the intent.
You know what I mean? Even like when his hands come out in the water, it took me out because it just, to me it is like it's a glove was. You know what I mean? I don't know. It is look too like cheap. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's a simple effect, like his hands come out of water, you can't really screw that up. But to me, like if you could enhance that, like CGI wise, Maybe darken the color tone. Like the color palette wasn't that great in this movie either. Like, you know what I mean? Like I think like a consistent dark color palette would have been good for this movie. Like how they had it in the remake.
I personally disagree with you on the color palette thing. I think this movie benefits from a lighter color palette because like you want a clear distinction between the dream and the reality. So the reality should look a little brighter. So and that's what makes it great. So there are times when the dreams look brighter too. So it like kind of messes with you. You're not really entirely sure when it's a dream or not. I think they play with color pretty well here. Like because they're giving you this false impression that there is a distinction, and then they're meddling with the distinction to give you a scare.
The only time that really works for me is towards the end where we have this uncertainty that like we don't know if they're still dreaming or whose dream we're in or if they're still alive or if they're in the dream world. Like that's the only time when it works for me. Because that's the way it really comes. That's what really fools me. Like, what really draws me into this movie, like, at least in the meat of the movie, is just Freddy playing with his victims. You know what I'm saying? Like, within the dream world. Yeah. But I think to really establish, like, the horror, like, if you really want to, like, really scare the pants off somebody, you know what I'm saying? Just keep that, like, at least, like, consistently, like, go Zack Snyder, Man of Steel.
No.
In my opinion.
Ew, no. I
hate that dark room
I hate Zack Snyder's color palettes. They look ugly as shit.
I mean the color palette for Man of Steel specifically, not his other movies. Like,
no, that one specifically I really never liked.
I mean the dark color palette.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, because for Superman it sucks,
like
but I like the color palette itself. Not necessarily for a Superman movie, but that color palette to a Freddy Krueger movie, I think that could work really nice.
No, it's too blue for a Freddy Krueger movie.
I like that gloomy look. You know what I'm saying? And back in the days, in the original film times, to show that it was nighttime, they shined blue. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, but that being said, like, it really does. I don't think blue is really Freddy's color. Well, like Freddy's always more associated with like fire and shit. So I think if anything, I think a more like reddish color tone would benefit him more.
No, but you could practically you could practically use fire. You know what I'm saying? In your fucking wish they did. You know what I'm saying? So.
And they did that a lot of Freddy vs. Jason, where the Freddy scenes are more reddish and the Jason scenes are more bluish because they're more associated with fire and water, how they both originally died.
Right. He died in fire. Jason raising water. Yeah, that was brilliant too. Just seeing him like him just fucking with people. You know.
Yeah, like, Freddy steals. I mean, there's a lot of good actors here, but Freddy steals the show.
Yeah. And he's not, and he talks, but he doesn't like have a bunch of lines.
No, this is
he's more just laughing, like victim. Like
this is the single movie where he talks the least.
Yeah, he's the victims. You know what I'm saying? He's victimizing people. Mm-hmm. He's toying with them. He's saying a few lines. He's more laughing maniacally. Really?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like really just having fun with it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
And also that like and they don't really get too much into origin story, like similar to like this. It's very similar to like Halloween or Friday the 13th. Like they don't really get into the lore. They just kind of like as the movie progresses, you kind of see glimpses and pieces.
No, I mean they thought I'd tell you that the parents killed them all.
But they didn't begin it that way. It's like a mystery they had to uncover.
Yeah,
that's truth. But I'm saying that was a thing in all horror, like Halloween too. Like they didn't like in the Rob Zombie Halloween, you kind of get like the origin story one time. In Halloween, you just see him like I'm in a scene where he's like working with blood in his fucking knife as a kid, and then you fast forward, you don't know who this girl is, and this creeps are showing up and start murdering people. And later on, you realize, oh, he's Mike Myers and all this stuff. Yeah. The story comes out later. You know what I'm saying? Similar to Friday the 13th and others. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying like that's the same style that he did, and it works.
Yeah,
you know, because
I personally prefer that.
To me, especially for those kind of movies, because like especially for the first movie, especially for horror. Because you really want to build up that suspense and that uncertainty and the mystery. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I thought like one of the best scenes was like there's sometimes where people blink once and all of a sudden they're just in a dream.
That's why I like One Night on Elm Street because you really did not know if there was in a dream or not. Because
there's little subtle hints if you really look for it.
Yeah, it's like the dream is mimicking the reality. That's like in the final scene where the main girl was about to take out Jason. She literally implanted like a hammer on the roof. Just because she know, like in her dream, it's gonna mimic the same exact.
She was Home Alone for Home Alone.
But the dumb thing about that though, Kid Freddy just remake the dream sequence and put it in a different space. Like, why does her dream have to mimic where she's at currently? Like that's one thing that kind of threw me off.
No, like the others, the sequels kind of build on that a bit, where they're like the person having a dream that does have a level of control over where the dream can take place. Okay. But that's one thing I truly like about all of Wes Craven's horror series, that the sequels do have a good job of actually building on top of one another. You see in Nightmare on Elm Street and on Scream, where they both build and expand things in a very unique way.
Ending really was like, even when I was watching it yesterday, it really just like jolted me up. I'm like, what? It confused me so hard, but it was confusing in a good way because I'm like, I want to know more. It kind of leaves you wanting more. You know what I'm saying? It's like how the fuck did this, like, what is going on? Like, that's it. Like, it feels like it's still more story to tell within this movie. You know what I'm saying? But it's also conclusive in a way, too. You know what I mean? It's weird. Like, that the ending was it's probably one of the best endings I've seen to any kind of horror slasher kind of movie. But this movie, so do you want to get to scale, or do you have any more that we can get into?
I thought that the lead, Nancy, played by Heather Langenkamp, was very good in this movie. And her father, played by John Saxon, was he's always good in anything, really. Yeah,
I like him. I wish we had like a more centered story on him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because him and the mother the mother was actually a good addition too. You know what I'm saying?
She wasn't bad.
Her guiltiness, like her drinking problem, you know, because she felt guilty for what she did.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing, that we didn't mention, that we mentioned last night when we were watching the film, I think it would have been even better. Because they're basically trying to build up on the vengeance thing. So what if Freddy was wronged? You know what I'm saying? What if Freddy actually didn't do it, and he was just accused by the way maybe he's like being around kids. Mm-hmm. So people misjudge that. Oh no, he's a pedophile. You know what I'm saying? Or murderer. You know, he's the one that's doing it, and then he got wrongly murdered for that, and now he's taking vengeance on because now he's fully, you know, like, now he's like. You know,
if they wanted to take Freddy down a sympathetic route, then that's absolutely the way to do it, to make him be wronged. Make him be actually innocent of those crimes. But that would
justify the vengeance. You know what I'm
saying?
It
would justify.
But also make him actually murder makes him a lot more a lot more scary. You know what I mean? Too. Yeah. So I get both ways. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think there's a wrong answer there.
Yeah, exactly. It's either what you prefer. But yeah, I think that concludes our review. We give this movie a thumbs up.
Yeah.
Hopefully you give this video a thumbs up.
If only.
So if you like this video, if you want more content, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that noti bell. And we'll get you more, stuff. So
yeah, watch out for more.
Yeah, watch out for more. We got a lot more stuff. We got a lot more that's in the pipeline, ready to come out. Well, basically, this whole show is a whole pit stop until Lucifer comes back. To be honest, we got a lot of content until that show comes back. So
yeah, it'll be good. Peace out.
Peace out, y'all. Stay groovy.
You came after all this time.
Come on, lady, give me some space.